in traffic. Greg Ray, they're going to make a sandwich out of Marco Greco, and Greg Ray almost gets together with the leader.
We're on the last lap of the race. The last lap of the race, a half a lap to go. McGee and Scott Sharp battle for the lead and the win at Texas. They come to the fourth corner side by side. Scott Sharp gets the advantage and comes down and wins it. Wow!
Can't weave and duck and cut in front and move to a side. You just can't do that.
Look at this, 3 abreast. No, this isn't going to work. Yes, it did.
That is lunacy. That is absolute irresponsible lunacy.
Oh, look at this.
And it's going to be Scott Sharp that leads the next to last lap. Who will it be when they come around again? Sharp, Harnish, Buell at Texas for the win. At the line, oh, Harnish got him! Oh my gosh, what a finish!
Unbelievable!
Who will be next to win at Texas? Well, 4 of the Indy Racing League's hottest drivers have never competed here before. They face speed, wheel-to-wheel action, and danger at over 215 miles an hour tonight at Texas Motor Speedway. Live from Texas Motor Speedway, ESPN presents the Boomtown 500, the 6th stop on the 2002 Indy Racing League schedule. Hi everyone, I'm Bob Jenkins. Welcome to Texas Motor Speedway. If you want close and exciting racing, stay tuned because this is the place where we have seen 3 of the 6 closest finishes in the history of the Indy Racing League. But before we talk about what's coming up tonight, let's go back 2 weeks to the Indianapolis 500 and talk more about the disputed finish. Now let's refresh your memory here. It's lap 198. On the right part of your screen, the battle for the lead. Helio Castroneves leading and Paul Tracy chasing him. On the left, there's the crash involving Redon and Lazier. And here comes the pass. And so the question is, who won the race? We have with us live Brian Barnhart, the Vice President of Operations for the Indy Racing League. And Brian, take us through the steps that have occurred since that checkered flag there at Indy.
Well, Bob, after the checkered flag at Indy was over, we did an exhaustive search of all the data and video that we could find before posting the official results. They were unchanged from the unofficial results. Team Green protested that decision. The protest was heard on Monday and denied. They have since appealed that decision to Tony George.
And Tony will hear that himself?
Yeah, Tony has decided he will hear the protest of the denial on Monday, the 17th of June.
All right, now the rule regarding this situation is very, very clear. Here's how it's stated in the rule book. Racing ceases immediately upon the display of the yellow flag and or the yellow light. And so we again go back to the video and show you that as the cars enter turn number 3, is it your opinion that Helio Castroneves let off because he saw the yellow light? What's your evidence at this point?
Well, right now we're firmly convinced that the racing had ceased before the pass was completed.
And again, Tony George himself will hear that appeal on June the 17th.
That's correct.
All right, Brian, thanks very much for your explanation. And so, Jackaroot, that means that at least for right now, Helio Castroneves is a 2-time winner at Indy.
And Bob, that 2-time winner of Indy is getting ready to compete here at Texas Motor Speedway, but it's been a wild 2 weeks for Helio Castroneves, accepting all the laurels and the applause from people as the Indy 500 champion. But Helio Castroneves now faces the task of trying to win the Texas 500. Helio, what's the difference between here in Indianapolis?
Well, the speed is pretty much close, but it's a much more short course, and everybody's in the pretty much same rhythm. So as long as everybody keeps safe on the same line, we're going to have a very good show.
By the way, the caution light that is on Helio Castroneves' onboard notification system is located right up within eyesight on his steering wheel. But Gary Gerald, this guy comes to the post tonight as a 2-time Indy 500 champion.
And in row 2, starting this race tonight in Texas, is another 2-time Indy champion, but Indy's a long way from the mind of Al Unser Jr. He's got a great opportunity tonight because this starting position of 3rd is the best he's ever experienced in IRL competition. He says this team has been knocking on the door. They're so close to winning another IRL event. Tonight would be the night because he's not won here in Texas. Best this year, 5th at Phoenix. Now, Bob was talking about the great close finishes in the past at Texas. We sampled driver opinion on what makes racing so great at this track, and we start with two-time winner Scott Sharp.
You're flat out all the way around almost every lap, 2 and 3 abreast.
You're going to have somebody right in front of you, right behind you, and to the right of you.
Even if you're the quickest, you have a pack of hyenas right behind you snapping at you every time you blink.
You can run high, middle, low, any place on the track. It's fast, it's flat out, it's very aggressive, it's fun.
One of the drivers that has never seen the Texas Motor Speedway before is Tomas Scheckter, as his Red Bull crew connects his radio. Tomas Scheckter used videos from the in-car camera of his owner, Eddie Cheever Jr., to acquaint himself here. Seemed to work, Thomas, because you find yourself on the pole.
Yeah, the car's been very good. I have to thank Infinity and Red Bull. They give me a good car. Hopefully we can sort out this radio problem and go racing.
Radio so very important here. Spotters also very important. But Garrett Gerald, what makes this starting spot so important? His boss, Eddie Cheever, flanks him on the outside of the front row.
Well, the last time the IRL raced at this track, here's the man that won it in car number 4. It's the Panther team, and Sam Hornish Jr. went on to the victory, the closest in IRL history. What's the key to getting another win tonight, Sam?
The key is right now to get up towards the front, follow the 2 blue cars around for a while, and decide what kind of move I need to make there towards the end. The race is going to be won, I think, in the last 5 laps, and it's going to be who's there and who plays the smartest game. So can't wait.
It's been breathtaking in the past. No reason to believe it'll be anything different tonight. Scott Goodyear used to drive this car. He's a 2-time winner at Texas. He's in the broadcast booth along with our colleague Paul Page.
Yeah, probably nobody knows better than Scott Goodyear, but the finishes here are more often determined by inches. Racing the Indy cars at night at Texas Speedway is special, but what are the physics that contribute to it?
Well, Paul, the dynamics of this track, you have to think about it. 28 degrees, it's more than double most of the tracks that we visit on the IRL circuit. It can be punishing on the cars, it can be punishing on the drivers. These drivers will be both mentally and physically taxed by the end of the night.
Well, let's talk about that driver situation, because concentration and focus is key here.
Absolutely. When you're going around here at 220 miles an hour, you usually have cars on both sides of you, just 6 inches apart. One wrong move could spell disaster. You have to get to the end of the race to be able to finish first. That's on these guys' mind tonight. But foremost, they have to get through the start. The first 5 or 6 laps here with everybody bobbing and weaving can really sometimes be just overexciting.
And of course, with the G-forces slamming you down into the cockpit constantly, it is a strenuous race to drive.
To the grid. Drivers, start your engine.
And as the engines begin to roar, now let's take a look at the starting grid and a few of the drivers' thoughts on why racing is so exciting here at Texas Motor Speedway. Scheckter and Cheever, Team Red Bull, with their Infinity engines on the front row.
It's a very tense place to race.
Row 2, Al Unser Jr. with his best qualifying effort, and Loren Raydon, the rookie. Row 3, Helio Castroneves, the Indy winner, and Shigeaki Hattori.
They just have to be smart here, you know. You can't keep like swerving or trying to block because it's fast.
Row 4, Jeff Ward and Sam Hornish, the winner of the 3-wide thriller here last October. Ayrton Dare and Buddy Lazier make up the 5th row. In row number 6, it's Billy Boat, whose only IRL win came here in '98, and Jill DeFerrin. In row 7, George Mack and Robbie Buell, who finished a close 3rd here last fall.
He can run flat out, side by side, lap after lap here.
The 8th row is Richie Hearn and Scott Sharp, going for his 3rd straight Texas win.
It's kind of like racing in a fishbowl.
Row 9, Raul Boisel and Felipe Giafoni, who finished 2nd here last year. The 10th row, Alex Barron and Greg Ray, who has twice finished in 2nd place at Texas.
This is the racetrack that all the drivers want to come to.
In the 11th row, John DeVries and Rick Treadway, who scored a 5th place here last October, and row 12 is John Herb. So there's the field, and it is rolling on this track in Texas. You take a look there at Scott Sharp, and once again, Scott Goodyear is on the phone to him.
Scott Sharp, this is Scott Goodyear with ABC. You are a two-time race winner here in Texas and involved in the closest finish ever. What's it going to take tonight to get the job done?
Well, Scott, welcome everyone to the race. It's going to be an awesome race tonight. We just got to move our way up a little bit, which I know we can do. I think we got a car to come out on the low and the high. Basically just take our time, take people off, get ourselves in position with the lead group, and try to ride there, execute great pit stops, and be there for the Delphi car to make a charge towards the end of the race.
Well, good luck. We hope you're a three-time winner tonight. Take care.
Thanks, buddy.
So Scott Sharp, there is the front row as it begins to align the Team Red Bull cars of Tomas Scheckter and Eddie Cheever Jr. Track conditions here at Texas Motor Speedway before an enormous crowd. Temperature has been high. It's been hot here all day.
Absolutely, Paul. And this plays a big part on the cars here. They run throughout the middle of the day. They get the cars set up for the heat, and that will change throughout the evening. They're going to start here with these high temperatures. It will start to cool off. It will change the handling in the cars. The teams are going to have to make those changes in pit stops. The drivers are going to have to communicate with the teams and let them know what's going on so they can help them with those changes.
Well, those are some of the conditions. There's also a hint of showers in the area. Here's the AT&T race analysis on this 1.5-mile oval, steeply banked at 24 degrees in the corner. And of course, Scott Sharp is definitely the man to watch here. But from what we've seen from both qualifying and practice, it really could be anybody's day. Everybody started properly. No problems there. They're all rolling. Remember what Bob Jenkins mentioned earlier about how close they run here? Look at that. Of the top 6, 3 of the fastest, closest finishes have been here at Texas. Gary Gerald.
All in the pits. Every team tonight will be making at least 3 pit stops over the course of the 200 laps, possibly more. One thing to keep in mind, big change from Indianapolis. There you have the luxury of a 47.5-foot pit box. Tonight, 36.5 feet pit box. It's 11 feet shorter. That means that you've got to be very precise on your entry, and the margin of error is much, much smaller. Let's go to Jackaroo.
Well, Gary Gerald, Tomas Scheckter showed the concern about the radio problem inside the cockpit of his car. They have not, I repeat, not cured that problem. At the present time, all the communications that Tomas Scheckter has is with a signal board located on the backstretch of this 1.5-mile speedway. There's a new rule here at the speedway as well. In the past, you were able to pit on pit road coming out of turn 4. Tonight, they will pit coming out of turn 3. They will pull down into the cool-off area where they're basically heading right now. And, Paul, that's where they will begin to decelerate. Good news for Scheckter and Cheever as they're the first cars at the far end of the pits.
You can see the waving out of the side window of the Chevrolet Corvette pace car. This is the pace lap. They were scheduled to go green at the conclusion of this lap. But now they're reporting a little moisture on the backstretch. It's not obvious from where we watch high over this crowd, a crowd of over 70,000 people. Lap count will not start until the green flag comes out, but there is the possibility that you can have a little rain flirting off and on with this race. 5 of the last 8 races have had those close finishes. And speaking of a coverage of 1 second, as you see a drop of rain come onto Raul Boisel's onboard camera. Speaking of the field, 1 second covers the field front to back.
And Paul, when you think about that right now, the speed that these guys come out ready to get going to, 220 miles an hour, is amazing. Now these guys are all pumped up, ready to take that green flag. They're going to have to calm themselves down and just get ready for whenever this race might go green. The IRL officials, especially Brian Barnhart, are so good at monitoring the track. A little moisture here could cause disaster. So for sure, we'll have to wait until it's completely dry.
And here's exactly what everybody's worried about. It's only come up in the last few minutes. There's a little shower that has moved toward the track from the east, which is the direction you're looking right now. And this shower lies just off the track and creating a pretty rainbow, but we would appreciate prettier racing. Let's go back to Jack Arute.
Well, you can see from the look on Owen Snyder's face that he's not at all happy about his driver's radio problems. But Owen, I understand you've put a call out for Thomas's backup helmet.
Well, we'll definitely get his helmet here, but you got to stop to change that helmet. That's a problem. Kind of hoping it'll rain a little harder.
maybe they'll stop this thing and we can get that thing changed without.
Have you talked to the officials about if it rains harder, will you be able to go and make the change without having to lose your spot?
That's what we're talking about right now. Who knows what's going to happen?
Well,
well,
you can expect it in Texas.
It's going to be an interesting question as we watch this rain shower kind of move through the area. As we take a look at the point standings mentioned earlier, Helio Castroneves moved to the lead of the points, and Sam Hornish Jr. dropped down to third place. Let's go down to Gary Gerald.
Well, we were talking about at least 3 pit stops here. This is 200 lap distance on a 1.5 mile track. If you get about 2.25 miles per gallon, you can easily make this race in 3 stops. We're talking to a lot of different crew chiefs about the kind of fuel mileage you get, because you wonder, with the drivers being flat foot on that throttle all the way around this 1.5 mile high banked oval, they say that in the draft it's no trouble to get 2.3, maybe 2.4 miles per gallon. If you're out in front, it's a whole nother story. But maybe Scott Goodyear can address the fact that this seems to be a place where you don't have guys trying to get out of the lead. The natural configuration of this track and all the grip you get rockets guys to the front, but you see it changing all the time. So fuel mileage should not be a concern. The question would be 3 stops versus 4. More likely, we'll see 3.
Still waiting to find out what's going to happen with this little shower, which is just on the edge of the track. Talking about back-to-back wins, and Scott Sharp, the Indy Racing League here at Texas in 2000, again in 2001.
Paul, I just want to touch on that radio situation with Tomas Scheckter. If any track in the IRL series that we go to, this is the track here that you need the help from the spotter. The spotter is an individual who's up on top of the roof right now who can see the whole complete track and has the ability to have contact with the driver on the track for his team. He's relaying information to him about what's going on, any incidents ahead of him, who's behind him, and more importantly, who is beside him on the top or on the bottom. He talks him all the way through the turns. So what ends up happening is that right now he has no communications, and he's going to be a driver that's almost going to be driving with blinders on.
You take a look from over the top of Sam Hornish Jr.'s car, the Pennzoil Panther team, still watching this shower, which is right on the edge of the track, and they're hoping to be able to go green. Well, of course, Tomas Scheckter's Red Bull team is hoping that they might stop the field and be able to change out his helmet and therefore help his radio communications. We talked to the driver before the race, asking them, what is the factor of danger here at Texas compared to everywhere else?
Anytime you get in a race car and you're going above 150 miles an hour, it's dangerous. This is what we do.
We're just such equal cars that you get us together, and boy, it's just like it's a magnet. Pulls everybody together, and you have a swarm of 15 cars out there.
If you put 20 cars traveling over 215 miles an hour within 200 feet of each other side by side, that's probably a recipe for disaster.
These walls are just as hard as anywhere.
Anytime you're running 2 and 3 wide, at 215, 220 miles an hour, I mean, you can't afford to touch.
No question about it. Racing in the league is very serious business. Images here from the Firestone onboard camera, the in-car race cam on Felipe Giafoni's car, as he begins now to accelerate, and they are ready, hopefully, for a green flag. They're now reporting green flag next time by. Crowd here on its feet. This is the largest crowd to see an open wheel race on an oval outside of the Indy 500 this entire season. And they're ready for it. And I think there is a giant, massive wish that whatever moisture lay just to the east of the track can just stay there.
Paul, this is the time the drivers right now are just concentrating on getting through the gears when they see the green flag, getting the speed up, and getting into turn 1. They know they're going to have people on above them or below them, and they have to make sure they listen to the spotters. We talked about Tomas Scheckter not having his spotter. Will that be a problem for him, especially here at the start? It can be 2 or 3 abreast after the green flag.
Chevrolet Corvette pace car off the track. Tomas Scheckter leads them to the flag, and they go green despite some interesting moves right behind them. Don comes around. Al Unser Jr. at least gets up alongside him. Scheckter down the backstretch. Redon alongside of Unser Jr.
Paul, all right. already we're seeing that two abreast racing with Redon running on the high side already. Tire pressures are low, the car is full of fuel, it's very heavy, very difficult to drive in the first opening laps, but already he's doing a great job.
Scheckter leads lap 1, followed by his teammate Eddie Cheever Jr. Riding with Sam Hornish, who feels that this is a very important night for him and for his championship run.
Now, Paul, he did not lead any laps at the Indianapolis 500 this year, and it's not very often that Sam Hornish does not lead a race, but he knows, and his team has spoken to him, we have to be there at the finish, we have to be on the lead lap. Now here we look at this tire temp on the Firestone information. Coming out of yellow, that red arrow is showing you the tire temps are now coming up, the pressures are coming up, just getting into the green. The drivers can see this on their onboard dash area right here, and that's telling them also the same information. Further into the green tells the pressures are going up, and now he knows he can stand on the gas.
As he moves up alongside Ray.
Inside. Still there. Still there. Inside.
And now coming up to the front of the field, second place, Eddie Cheever, with Laurent Redon right behind him, and then Hornish. Hunter Jr. in that line. Elio Castroneves has dropped back just a bit. Castroneves and DeFer and the two Penske drivers both have expressed a little concern because they have never raced at night before.
And Paul, not only that, but both Penske drivers were standing here watching the beginning of a truck race last night so they could watch how the drafting works and see all the action on a mile-and-a-half oval. Both Gilles Defere and Elio Castroneves took in the first quarter of the race, just standing up high so they get an opportunity just to see what it's like here at Texas.
Hornish moves on Redon, gets into third place behind Scheckter. Going to try to move, behind Cheever, going to try to move on Cheever as well. That's Scheckter way out there in turn 1. He pulled away.
Now Sam likes to run that high line. Watch, he's getting in behind the car in front of Cheever's, getting a little toe off the car in front. That means the car in front is breaking the airstream for him. He doesn't have to push the air, and he'll try and tuck underneath him, just coming off the turn, get a bit of a run, and get out beside him on the outside, and hopefully make a run going into 1.
The two juniors, Eddie and Sam, battle for second place right now. Field still fairly tightly bunched. The lone exception being Tomas Scheckter, who's managed to pull out well ahead of second place, Eddie Cheever, his block. Laurent Redon in that yellow and red car, the MyTrack car, now has Al Unser Jr. working him on the high side. On board the Corteco car of Unser Jr. Gilles Defere started in 12th. He's now up in 6th place. Oh, side by side they go.
And this Texas track, Paul, really promotes that.
Yellow flag comes out. Yellow flag out. We don't see an obvious reason, so we're going to make an assumption that it might be moisture, but that is only an assumption until we hear officially from IRL Race Control. Ricky Treadway on the way into the pits. Well, the report is that there's been a touch of wheels out there, and that Treadway was one of them. Right there it is, Scott. So that'll bring the yellow out, and it is very, very early in the going.
Has won the Indianapolis 500. Look at that. 12 laps completed here at Texas Motor Speedway. We are under caution. Rick Treadway sits on pit road, and he is the reason for the caution. We go back and show you what happened, and Scott, you can analyze Rick Treadway's problem here. This is coming out of corner number 2.
Bob, as you see him coming through the turn right now, something happens to the car. That little puff of smoke that we saw right there, and it made the car go really wide and kiss the wall. And you see all the debris coming here from the cement. That's the right rear wheel of the car hitting. Now, as we come through here, I think that problem also led, as we watch the cars come through the front section here, here's the two cars back there. And as they come through the line, you'll see Rick Treadway on the outside, 16 coming through there. Herb, they're just touching. He just ends up getting a little bit too wide. Just a little bit too wide. You see the two had all of a sudden touched.
1 lap to go before green. Gary Gerald, several cars did make pit stops.
Let's check in with Rick Treadway, who's out of the car. We just got a quick look at the replay there. You got squeezed out against the wall?
I didn't even have to look at the replay. I knew exactly what happened. I guess some people don't pay attention in the driver's meeting. This track, we're supposed to be racing side by side, 2, 3 wide. You know, some people like John DeVries shouldn't even be racing in our league. That was a stupid move on his part, running me right into the wall. It's really upsetting. The Big Tex trailer, Chevrolet car, we had it really going on. We missed it in qualifying, but we were running about 6 or 7 mile an hour faster in our last practice yesterday, and we were just going to move up through the field, and unfortunately, when I was passing him on the outside, he ran me right into the wall.
All right, emotions are running high, even though it's early in the night here in Texas, Bob.
And this was only Rick Treadway's second start here at Texas, and he did record his best career finish here in the second race last year of 5th. The cars are ready for the restart. The green is out. Here's Paul.
Tomas Scheckter brings them back to the green. He's led in 3 of the last 4 races. Listen to the roar of that Chevy on board. Sam Hornish Jr.'s engine as he accelerates, and Al Unser Jr. now makes his move and drops into 4th place, getting around right on.
Outside, clear.
Hornish is on a tear now.
That was a beautiful move, Paul. He's obviously got his foot down, pedal to the metal as we call it. He's chasing Tomas Scheckter. Now, you know, he does not like to be behind in any race that he runs, and he wants to get up there and start leading, and he's certainly going to be 4 shortly.
Unser Jr., Jill DeFerrin, both working on Eddie Cheever.
And Paul, part of the problem with Eddie Cheever is the car's developed a loose condition. I'm not quite sure why they made some adjustments to the weight tracker, but he's told his crew it's not running as good as it was before.
DeFerrin and Unser Jr. go side by side.
Inside.
Well, look at the grandstand just fly by. Remember, they're well over 200 miles an hour here.
And Paul, we talked about the spotter. Listen to the spotter talking to him all the way around. Something Tomas doesn't have. He's had no traffic beside him yet, but sooner or later, he's going to have to start worrying about that.
Unser Jr. puts his nose ahead for the moment. Laurent Redon stays back in there right behind Jill DeFerrin. Looking back at the front. Oh, look at this move down the inside.
Now, Paul, what happened there? Gilles probably saw in his mirror that he had a lot of people actually coming up behind him. You cannot run side by side. You end up going too slow, so he followed him behind, so hopefully you'll get another charge going up towards the front.
Back at the front of the field, Tomas Scheckter, Sam Hornish. Hornish tucks right in behind him. Then he comes out looking for his move.
Paul, he's doing exactly what the crews tell him to do. They say ride in that track. He said they're playing the 2-wide game behind you. So right now, early, it's playing right into Sam Hornish's hands.
And Tomas Scheckter has no help here right now except for 2 small rear view mirrors. He has told the crew they can hear him. He has told the crew that the car is running very, very well.
And for those of you that have just joined us, we're watching the Indy Racing League in the Texas 500 at Texas Motor Speedway. I'm Paul Page, Bob Jenkins, Scott Goodyear. We're both up top keeping track of everything down in the pits. It's Gary Gerald and Jack Arute, and you are watching a battle for the lead. Tomas Scheckter in that bright yellow car is chasing the Red Bull, or Tomas Scheckter is being chased by that bright yellow car of Sam Hornish. Red Bull versus Pennzoil.
And Paul, Nissan Infiniti powered versus Chevrolet. Nissan Infiniti has always had the power this year, has always gone out because of accidents. Eddie Cheever's 5th at Indianapolis just the other week is actually a high point so far in the season for this team, but they certainly would like to win today.
And Scott, this is a new edition of the Infiniti 35. It's the 35E. They were going to run this car in Indianapolis, this engine, but they decided to wait for Texas.
Remember, when we show you the scoring in the upper left-hand corner, those up and down arrows are movement within the previous lap. For example, there, Hearn moved forward around Dare. Back on with Al Unser Jr.
Still low, Al. Still low. Still down there. Still low. Still low.
References to Jill DeFerrin, who is sitting just inside. And Helio Castroneves is now closing in, having gotten around Laurent Redon.
Paul, you see the front group have just broken away from this rear group here, and they're doing the right thing, as Gary mentioned a second ago. They're running in file behind each other, and that allows them to get going faster around the racetrack as the group behind them runs side by side. It's certainly a slower way to do it.
And Sam Hornish is playing a very bright deal here by staying back in second place. He's got the advantage of the power of Tomas Scheckter's Infinity, pulling him down the front straightaway. He doesn't have to make any moves right now. He does at lap 199. So a smart drive here by Sam Hornish Jr. It's Tomas Scheckter that is the leader. Back at the Texas 500, the sun now beginning to set. The lights are already on. The temperatures will then begin to cool, and believe it or not, they will be going even faster than the 218-mile-an-hour lap that the leaders just set. Here are the cars on the move in this field. Look at that marvelous jump by Felipe Giafone. At the same time, some guys with problems. Most notably there, Jeff Ward. Talking about the sun, you see the glare they get there. What's that do to you?
Paul, that's very difficult. Guys are going through turns 3 and 4. Remember, 215, 220 miles an hour. As the sun continues to settle down, what will end up happening, it will get further down and start to blind them through their visor. Now, a lot of guys will start this first segment with a pair of sunglasses on. Come into the pits for their first time, open their visor, take those sunglasses off, throw them over the pit wall, and then hopefully the sun has then gone down, because that momentary blindness going through 3 and 4, when you think about it, can be a big hazard.
Remember, we had a very short caution period for Rick Treadway and John DeVries when they got together, and also Treadway got a little piece of the wall. Well, during that, Scott Sharp pitted. He came out in 22nd position and is already up to 10th, Jackaroo.
Bally just was not happy with the Firestone Firehawks on that Delphi car, so they decided, after starting so far back, take advantage of that caution period, put the right set of tires that were more to Scott Sharp's liking on, and work his way back to the front. Meanwhile, the word on his teammate, Al Unser Jr., they have asked Al to control his fuel mileage just a bit. They would like to push the window a little bit further, as Al Unser Jr. is trying to close on any Cheever.
Unser Jr., you ride with him in 4th place. That's Cheever just ahead. And you saw the move by Sharp as he got around Lazier, and that put him into 9th place. Here's the Firestone telemetry, and again, the new feature here is the tire temperature pressure, which is on the bottom.
And Paul, you can see that red arrow that you see actually is indicating, as we're seeing right there, what is going on with the tire temperature and the pressure. It's just about 90% of where it needs to be. These Firestone Firehawks are great tires, and usually what ends up happening is they can run a full segment here without any problems whatsoever. Al Jr. knows that. He can see that on his dash, as we talked about before. He gets all that information right there on his steering wheel. He knows the tires are running perfectly for him. He just is trying to conserve some fuel running it behind Eddie Cheever.
And Scott, there is a problem that will develop very shortly if this race stays under green. And that's for your leader, Tomas Scheckter. Owen Snyder would like to have Scheckter come in on lap 52. There's only one problem. They've got no way of calling him in. They just hope that he'll be able to read the signboard at 220 miles an hour, located at the end of turn 2 down that long Texas back straightaway.
Scott, that's not an easy job. I mean, you're flying.
You're flying, Paul. You're absolutely right. Now, what he has to do, hopefully, is look over and get to that information that's on that board. They will show it to him lap after lap after lap. Now, there is hand signals. He can put his fingers up over the windscreen of the car, and hopefully the signboard man will see it, and they'll indicate back to the pits that he has seen it. He will come in. Now, the problem that you have for Thomas is that he does not have radio, as we spoke about. He does have the information on the dash that you see right there. He knows how much fuel is in the tank. He knows how much fuel he's used. So hopefully he's paying attention to that, and he will not run the car out of fuel.
Firestone onboard camera, Felipe Giafone. We're just going to ride with him. Listen to the engine.
Car closing in back.
Now, Paul, as we go through 1 and 2, listen to Giafone's engine going down the straight, and you'll hear him run on the rev limiter. A little vibration.
Sharps in back, car in back. Looking outside, looking outside. Outside, outside. Still looking outside.
That's just behind him. You heard the mention of Scott Sharp. He moved up high. Now he's looking down the inside. That's Laurent Redon right now that Giafone's working on. By the way, Greg Ray seems to have a problem. He's getting ready to go a lap down.
Paul, that's certainly tough for him because he's from Texas, runs for A.J. Foyt, who is right here in Texas himself. So there's a lot of Texas pride, a lot of Texas fans here pulling for Greg Ray tonight.
Giafone got by. Now Scott Sharp's going to try the high side of Laurent Redon. Billy Boat closing up there as well.
Clear.
Scheckter is still the leader. Hornish is still second. So the rookie Tomas Scheckter has this race in hand after 42 laps. He's led from the pole. Back at Texas Motor Speedway, 52 Scheckter is still the leader, and he puts Greg Ray 1 lap down. And we show you the relative interval back to the 4 car, which is Hornish Jr., and the 51 car, which of course is Eddie Seaver, first, second, and third. It's Sunday night interleague baseball as the Atlanta Braves visit A-Rod and the Texas Rangers. Sunday night baseball presented by Nextel at 8 Eastern. Coverage begins with Baseball Tonight, presented by Pep Boys at 7. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. We were telling you about where the sign boards are located. There's a view of the backstretch, Scott.
But right there, and that's the sign. You can see he's shaking it. And what Thomas is looking at right now is a big sign that says in, telling him to come in. Hopefully he's paying attention to that. He sees that, or he could run the car out of gas.
Right now, he still has no communication. A couple of cars already into the pits. Richie Hearn is in. Buddy Lazier is in. We're on the 51st lap.
And Paul, when people start to pit, and you can see Tomas Scheckter did get that message. He's now on the apron of turns 3 and 4. He'll have to come around the apron, enter into the pits at 60 miles an hour. He's one of the first pit boxes in pit lane. He needs to get that service work done. They probably will not have time to do anything for him for the radio.
No, Scott, they're not going to do anything other than service him with 35 gallons of methanol and 4 new Firestone tires. He came in with 1.1 gallons of methanol left on board. They're holding him because it takes this long for the car to hold on, and he is off and away. A nominal stop for Tomas Scheckter.
So the lead is relinquished for the first time on the 53rd lap. Sam Hornish is now the leader. And Cheever and Hornish are both due in shortly. Cheever, of course, assumes second place.
8.5 seconds on second place.
So Hornish makes his turn down in turn 3, which they must do under green flag racing. They can turn off at 4 if they are under a caution condition.
Now, Paul, his pit spot is all the way down the front of the pit. You can see he's going in what they call the express lane over here. He transfers over the transfer lane into his pit box.
Everything routine as Hornish grabs the water bottle. We look from the rear of the car down on the back. Revving it.
Eddie Cheever in and out. Unser Jr. assumes
And Paul, that was a long stop for Eddie Cheever Jr. Why? Because he had a half a gallon of fuel left on board. That's cutting it close.
Well, they're all cutting it close. Here is Al Unser Jr. And Scott Sharp just makes the move on him. Now remember, Scott Sharp is out of the signal.
Now, do you want any changes?
That's Al's crew asking him if he needs any changes on his pit stop.
The Penske team heads for the pits on the 56th lap. Currently they run together at 5th and 6th. And we found that the net effect of having to come in under green in turn 3 puts you at least 1 lap down.
Nice
Barron rolls
first.
And Unser Jr. comes in from 2nd place. Remember, Scott Sharp can go another 11 or 12 laps before he has to stop because he stopped under that early caution.
Everything appears to be routine with tires and fuel, and driver number 7 out of here cleanly, Paul.
So there's your leader, averaging 186.5 miles an hour, including the caution flag. Scott Sharp in front. The 2002 FB nominees have been announced. The 3 RL drivers are nominated, including his Sam Hornish, the reigning champion, and the Team Penske drivers, Gil DeFerrin, and 2-time Indy winner, Helio Castroneves. The awards are live July 10th from Hollywood. On board with Scott Sharp, leader of the race, and due in about 5 laps.
And Scott Sharp has made a change in terms of tire selection. Most of the teams started on scuff tires. When they came in that early stop and didn't like the way the car was running, they changed their Firestone Firehawks to sticker tires. Are you surprised by that?
Well, they're looking for more grip, obviously, and what ends up happening with that, those sticker tires are brand new because they call them stickers because the labels are basically still on the tires themselves. And then, in the end result, you can have a choice between those and the worn-in tires that you talked about.
Gil DeFerrin came in, made a stop, and it looks like it's going to be a long one, Gary.
Yeah, Paul, this is something you don't ordinarily see on pit road. You can see the whole rear gearbox has been disassembled already by the DeFerrin Penske team. They pulled it out, and they're working down there around those hot parts. We understand that Gil blew 2nd gear when he exited the pits on the routine stop, and he just lost all drive power. So that's why they're in here. They're trying to free it up, getting back out here to chase points.
So Scott Sharp due in shortly. Sequence in his pit strategy. Of course, that's part of the game that can really pay off here. Back to the gearbox on the Penske team. Hot is an understatement of what those parts are.
Well, Paul, we saw the steam coming off from the oil when they pulled the back of the gearbox off. You saw it came off in one complete cluster. And the big thing about Penske is always prepared. He has another complete gearbox back in, ready to shove back in there and bolt it up to get the car up quicker. They're not going to do a repair, they're going to do a replacement.
Here's Raul Boisel out of 2nd place and on to the pit road. And also Scott Sharp. The new gear assembly back on DeFerrin's car. Still have to bolt the casing. Well, they got to get it on the lay shaft and then bolt the casing back. Here is Sharp.
And he hits his marks exactly.
Reset fuel.
Those are the instructions.
Hold it. Go.
A nice stop by Scott Sharp. He likes the way his car is running, guys. Once he got those stickers on.
Hot car, 9.7 seconds for Scott Sharp.
Impressive stop, and the most important thing, guys, no changes to the car. Tells you that Scott Sharp, as you mentioned, is happy with his race car. We can see him running high, running low. He's going to be a contender at the end of the night.
And so the lead cycles back to Scheckter and Hornick. So with 70 complete, the pole sitter Tomas Scheckter, after the first full cycle of stop, even though 2 cars are a little bit out of sequence, most notably that of Scott Sharp, because he stopped on an early caution, they're still flying here at 189.3 miles an hour.
And Paul, the young South African Tomas Scheckter has been given a new nickname after the early misfortunes in this IRL rookie season. His car owner, Eddie Cheever, now calls Tomas Scheckter Bam Bam.
And why does he do that?
Well, you do the math. How many cars has he wrecked?
6 Bams, right? Or is there 2 Bams to a single hit? Look at there. There's the gears, and that gnarled one is second.
And you can say, Paul, look at this area right here. There should be a gear there, and it's actually broken off and missing. And you can see the teeth here themselves have also broken. That's because there's parts going through the gearbox, and it's just taken out more and more of the gears, and you certainly can't run a car 220 miles an hour with all those parts rumbling around inside that gearbox.
And it may be those parts in there that are creating such a problem of getting that second unit in. They've tried for a 4th time to get it engaged, and they are still having problems getting everything to seat properly.
All those little parts end up getting cycled down to the bottom of the box, and when you try to push it forward, yellow comes on. This is a caution for debris. So the front of the field slows, and everyone else does as the yellow comes out for the 2nd time in the Texas 500.
The caution is out for the 2nd time of the evening here at Texas Motor Speedway. This is a debris caution. Tomas Scheckter is the leader right now. He has led 57 of the first 75 laps here at Texas. 2 weeks ago at Indianapolis, he was leading the 500, and then this happened. Contact with the turn 4 wall that knocked him out of competition. That was on lap 173, less than 25 from a possible victory at Indianapolis. Well, top fuel points leader Larry Dixon won the first 6 races this season. He hopes to extend his streak at the Pontiac Excitement Nationals next weekend as ESPN2 brings you the NHRA Powerade Drag Racing Series. Qualify next Saturday at 8 Eastern, and elimination starts Sunday, June 16th at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN2. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Jack Arute, Scheckter has been very impressive so far.
Boy, Bob, not only out on the racetrack, but the maturity that he is showing with the problem he's having with his radio. During this caution period, very calmly, Tomas Scheckter has gone through a set of hand signals that he would like the crew to use to let him know when the pit road is open, let him know when they want him to pit. This young South African is showing that he's learning on the job. Bob?
Scott Sharp has led the 2nd highest number of laps, but Tomas Scheckter right now is the leader of the Texas 500. We'll be back in just a moment.
There's the leader of the race, Scott Sharp, as we continue to circulate under yellow. And Scott Goodyear, what's he got to say?
Scott Sharp, this is Scott Goodyear here with ESPN. An impressive run, a little bit out of sequence, but that just might play well for you in pit stops here.
Yeah, I got to thank them. Take my hat off to thank everybody in the Delphi pit crew, Tom Kelly and Jeff Britton, all the boys are doing a great job. We're just sort of riding along. Cars are working well, in and out of traffic pretty well. A long way to go.
Now you had a change of tires there very early on, that first yellow. What was the problem with the first set?
We just decided to take advantage of, we were back far enough and thought we'd fill it up with fuel and put a new set of tires on it, and I'd be able to carve my way to the front, which I was able to.
Well, it's looking good. Wish you all the luck. The lights are on now. It's starting to get dark, and go fast.
Thanks, bud.
Sharp from 3rd place, Gary Gerald.
Quick updates and breaking news this weekend. This young man, Dan Weldon from Formula Atlantic's Indy Light Series F2000. Great opportunity. You're going to get to drive as a teammate to Sam Hornish for at least 2 races at the end of the season. How excited are you with this opportunity?
Yeah, I'm dying to get in the car right now. I mean, it's fantastic to join an organization like Pennzoil Panther, and I mean, I just can't wait to get in the car and go racing again. It's going to be fantastic.
Is it daunting to watch these guys at these speeds on the high banks in Texas?
Not really. We've done this before in the Dayton Indy Light Series, and what makes it easier is joining a fantastic team. You can see Hornish is really fast today, so that bodes well for me.
We'll see him in Chicago and at the end of the season right back here in Texas, guys.
The Gilda Ferentz car has been taken back to the garage area to continue to work on it. Elio Castroneves came in and made a stop just before they were beginning to align to come green again, but now IRL Race Control is saying it will stay yellow and not start. And the field went a little wide, and Scheckter still hadn't entirely gotten the message as they bring him down, and they're going to send him at least 1 more lap of yellow.
You can figure it out. The reason he didn't get the message, they can't talk to him on the radio. And he passed his signaling spot, so he figured it was time to go.
Yeah, but eventually you got to see the yellow flag. Join us next Sunday, June 16th, as the Indy Racing League makes its annual visit to beautiful Colorado Springs for the Pikes Peak Indy 225. All the action is on ABC Sports, live at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Once again, the pit crew has done everything they can for Sam Hornish Jr. We're 79 laps into the race here at Texas Motor Speedway, and Scheckter accelerating again. Paul Page with Scott Goodyear and Bob Jenkins up top. And down in the pits, Jack Arute and Gary Gerald. We're at Texas Motor Speedway for the Texas 500. Once again, Tomas Scheckter, race leader, surged ahead, but once again, yellow flag came out. Owen Snyder, his crew chief, trying to figure out what to do about this boy. I don't think you do anything. Down to Gary Gerald.
Quick update on Gilles de Ferran. We saw them working with that red-hot gearbox. Well, the new unit, they couldn't seat it properly. Finally, the Penske team has taken the car away from pit road, back to the garage area. Keep in mind, this is the first time this year that Gilles de Ferran will not have completed all the laps in a racing event. His teammate Castroneves still has that distinction, now solely his own.
Now, once again, eyes on Scheckter. There's a restart order with Greg Ray a lap down behind Al Unser Jr. Green comes out. Here we go.
Now for the drivers in the back home, this is when they can take advantage of the restart. Hopefully get past the driver that's in front of them. You can see that happening right now. Side-by-side racing. Tomas Scheckter, though, is just hoping to get through the gearbox up from top gear and just start to sail away like he did before.
On board with Unser Jr., 4th place. You see the top 3 just ahead of him. Sun continues to drop in the west. Lights are on.
Now, we were talking about fuel mileage before. Tomas Scheckter knows that this engine is a little bit more thirsty than the Chevrolet engines out there.
Loren Raydon moves on Al Unser Jr. And he gets him.
A very nice move and gone around the high side, which is the hard way. Tells you that the car is working very well for him now.
Infinity power there in Raydon's car, also in the leader Scheckter. The rest are Chevy. Look at Raydon as he works at the back of Sharp in the Delphi car.
Just behind Raydon is Cheever. Always there, always looking to make a move. Probably being very smart right now, sitting back behind a couple of cars, getting them to break the air in front of them, and having the opportunity to get better fuel mileage.
Raydon now moves high on Sharp.
Car inside. Still there. Still there. Still there. Still there.
These laps are fast at 217 miles an hour last time around.
Still there.
Now, Paul, this will be interesting. Here comes Scott Sharp's teammate, Allinger Jr. behind him. Will he tuck him behind Sharp and give him a bit of a push further forward?
Looking low. You're clear.
Back at the front of the field. Updates on the track conditions as the sun sets and the temperatures cool off. Air temperature dropped 6 degrees, track temperature much more.
And Paul, that's a lot lower than we saw during the middle of the day when some of these guys are practicing. Air temperature was up over 95. Track temperature was as high as 118. The wind has been very little here throughout the whole week, which is great for these drivers. They don't have to put that into their thought process.
And as long as we're talking about conditions, those showers that were on the edge of the track, well, the promoter here, Eddie Gossage, who's got some sort of special relationship with the weatherman because they moved right around the north side of the track and are gone.
And Paul, we talked about the sun going down at 3 and 4 as we go through here, you can see there's some sun actually in the top section of the racetrack, but the sun is far enough past the grandstands now that that's not coming into play with the driver's eyesight.
Infinity Chevrolet, the battle at the front, and then along comes Ray Dawn. Unser Jr. has managed to get sharp. So here, the Kelly teammates battle. But Tomas Scheckter, as he crosses over the 90th lap, appears to be unassailable here. Remember, until that incident that Bob Jenkins showed you, he led 85 laps in the Indianapolis 500. Boy, but Hornish is right there. At the same time, Loren Raydon is closing in as well. There is the top three racing at Texas in front of an estimated 83,467 IRL fans.
Hi, Sam Hornish Jr. with some big news. Later, I'll be giving you a special number and a chance to win an all-access pass to next year's Indy 500. Stick around.
Sam Hornish Jr. is running second to Scheckter right now as we bring you up to speed. Here's the demise of Scott Sharp. A big puff of smoke from the engine of that car as he came out of corner number 4, and we are under caution for the third time this evening here at Texas Motor Speedway. Scott drove the car down into turn number 1, and that's where the tow truck has him. He's on the rope. And meanwhile, with the pits open, the stops are being made, Jack.
And Bob, it was a last-minute decision by Tomas Scheckter. Remember, they're utilizing hand signals. He wasn't sure whether he should pit or not, but they did get the work done. He dived onto pit road. A quick stop, but boy, it almost cost him.
But Jack, it's going to be very close here as Hornish pulls away. There goes Scheckter. So Hornish has beaten Scheckter back onto the track.
The scramble is off pit road here as everyone on the lead lap, and there are 15 cars that are currently on the lead lap as we are very close to the halfway point, have elected to come in for a pit stop under this caution. On board the Chevrolet Corvette pace car, looking back on the field now.
Right rear.
Roger, just bring it around, bring it on around.
Oh, and Hornish may have a problem here that forces him to come in for another stop.
Bring it in.
He's complaining of the right rear and is dropping down off the banking and apparently is going to be making a second pit stop here. Oh, and the wheel comes off, and it goes over and hits Scheckter.
Come on down off the bank, come on down off the bank. Get down on the flat.
The right rear was not attached properly, and there it is bouncing down the racetrack in turn number 4.
Take it easy. You'll do less damage if you just ease it in. We'll be fine, Sam. It's all under yellow. We'll be fine. Watch your speed limiter. Watch your speed.
Gilles de Ferran lost a wheel at Indy after a pit stop. Up at the top of your screen, Scott Sharp comes back to pit road. And here is... that is Hornish coming out of the pits. Obviously said something was wrong at that point, and then as he drove down between turn 3 and 4, look what happened. Watch the left of your screen. The right rear wheel will just come rolling off the car and over, and boom, hits the number 52 car of Tomas Scheckter, the leader of this race. Scott?
And Bob, just watch what's going on here. You can see the car will start to wiggle for a moment, and then it just starts to wiggle itself, and we're going to see the wheel nut come off here. Right there now, we're going to stop it. Look at right there. That is the wheel nut. It was not affixed onto the car correctly, and all of a sudden now, the car itself is actually going to lose its wheel because it's got nothing holding it on.
Well, Sam Hornish was the only one who could stay right up on the rear wing of Tomas Scheckter. Now he has a problem under caution here at Texas Motor Speedway. Welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway. We are under caution. This is what happened to Sam Hornish Jr. under caution. He had just been in for a pit stop, and they didn't get the right rear on. The lug nut fell off. The car went into turns 3 and 4. The wheel came off and went over and banged against the Red Bull Team Cheever Infinity, driven by Tomas Scheckter. Now we go down to Gary Gerald.
John Barnes oversees the Panther team. How damaging now losing that wheel and the time and having to go to the back of the pack?
Well, the car's okay. It's in good shape. Way Sam's been running tonight, I don't think it'll take too long to get back up the front.
So you're confident you can still get back up there and challenge?
We'll be okay.
Wow, gotta love that.
So Sam Hornish Jr., of course, does not lose a lap here. Remain on the lead lap, but has some track position loss. Now, here are the pit stop position changes. The N indicates that the cars did not pit. Richie Hearn picked up 9 positions on that pit stop, and Tomas Scheckter lost 4. It'll be interesting to see if he can regain the positions lost. Well, it's Sunday night interleague baseball as the Atlanta Braves visit A-Rod and the Texas Rangers. Sunday night baseball presented by Nextel at 8 o'clock Eastern. Coverage begins with Baseball Tonight, presented by Pep Boys at 7 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Next time around, in fact, this time around, they will complete the 100th lap. So we are at the halfway point right now. Our ATT race analysis shows that Felipe Giafoni right now is the leader, and the green race average is more than 212.5 miles an hour. And Giafoni becomes our 5th leader so far tonight. Jack?
Well, Scott Sharp has pulled back into Gasoline Alley, but it is not a blown motor. Actually, they are working on the left rear suspension of the car, and he has not gotten out of the car. Guys, they are going to try and effect repairs and bring it back out.
Well, there was somebody moves in front of our camera back there in the garage area. So Scott Sharp had a big puff of smoke come from that car, but apparently not a blown engine. However, he is back in the garage area waiting for the opportunity to rejoin the race. Green flag coming up. Here's Paul and Scott.
Felipe Giafoni will bring the field back. That's Shigeaki Hattori in second place. Both Hattori and Giafoni stopped on the 76th lap, so they still have plenty of fuel left. DeFerrin is back into the fight because they have completed repairs to his gearbox. On board now with Hornet. Let's watch him move.
Inside, clear him. Okay, got another one there, got another one. Clear him, 2 cars.
And Shigeaki Hattori takes the lead. Race control is keeping an eye on Greg Ray and John DeVries because they say that they may have touched one another on the restart. No indication of damage to either car yet, but they are going to watch it.
That's Infinity
Still
power
looking.
out front.
Still looking.
Here again, we talked
You're
about
clear.
how much power the car has. Will the engines get to the end? It's a big question, but for Hattori, that's a great job right now, taking over from Giafoni and being out front and leading.
And what makes it even more, Scott, what makes it even more impressive is early in the race, that Calkins-led team said Hattori's car was very, very loose. Shigeaki just soldiered on until they can effect the repairs during the pit stop.
Scheckter. He makes his move around Unser Jr. and into
high.
third.
He's high. He's there. Still high.
Shigeaki Hattori, the Epson car. He's never led in an IRL race before. He is now. And he's got the world crawling all over his back.
Paul, we saw an impressive pit stop by Richie Hearn's team to get him up to third with that go-to-go car, but unfortunately I think he's paying the price not having any horsepower. He's already back to 8th.
Scheckter goes for second.
Still there.
He goes wheel to wheel with Giafoni for second. Unser Jr. lined up just behind him.
Still out there. Still outside. Still there. Still there. Still there.
Give Shaggy credit. He's really giving the car a run. As Scheckter comes forward around Giafoni and solidly into second. Now Unser Jr. is going to take a look at
Porsches on the move. John Barnes was very confident, and maybe with good reason, because he's stalking this group.
Scheckter makes his move for the lead now. Hornish just keeps coming forward 7 positions in the last couple of laps. On the backstretch, Scheckter tries for the lead again.
Stay in there. Let's keep up with these guys here.
Now remember, Scheckter does not have a radar. He does not know when he gets cleared from Hattori, so right now he has to just go by feel.
Hattori is staying right with him. Giafoni's trying to decide who he'll ride with.
Junior is back.
Giafoni comes off
Junior looking inside. Inside. Inside.
Because Junior was right there. They remain
got Buddy in back
side
now.
at the front. Hornish is now to 6th and charging. Interval 1st through 7th, 7/10 of a second.
Oh, this is what we always come to expect here at Texas. The first part of the race, people are sort of strung out a little bit now, but here we've got a big group of people coming around, and this is what we like to see. It's a thrilling time for a driver, and the fans love it here in Texas.
All bunch at the front. Shigeaki Hattori holds off Scheckter again. Scheckter driving for Buzz Calkins, who won the first IRL race ever at Walt Disney World.
And Paul, the reason they're backing up behind them is because these
Still
guys
up
are
there.
side by
Still there.
side.
Still there. Still there.
Talked about this before. If they're side by side, they don't seem to run as quickly as they do when they run one behind each other. It allows everybody else to move up and follow behind the train.
It's got to be putting a big hole in the air for everybody else.
Absolutely. And maybe Scheckter now has realized it. He'll take the opportunity to take an opportunity to run past them, maybe coming out of the turn using the draft.
Buddy Lazier in the Coors car gets down into this fight as well. 37 laps for both Hattori and Giafoni since their last stop.
Now Hattori's found himself a good team with the Calkins group, giving him a good car, getting him experience. There's no reason now that he leaves here with confidence that he can't start running ready throughout the whole race.
Robbie Buell very slowly on the pit road. That's one of the Infinity Power cars.
Looking high. Looking high. You're clear. Clear.
Battle for the lead. Unser Jr. wants a piece of Scheckter now. Scheckter takes a little higher line. Unser Jr. closes on Scheckter.
Paul, we saw there was a little bit of Scheckter getting underneath the dirty air of the car in front of him. Hattori had to back out of the grass and allowing Unser just get a good run on him.
So Buddy Lazier comes inside of Unser Jr. and Hattori still leads. Back at Texas Motor Speedway, the Texas 500, Shigeaki Hattori is still the leader. Tomas Scheckter tried to dispute that just a few seconds ago and got shoved back for his effort. So it's still Hattori, Scheckter, Unser Jr., Buddy Lazier, and Sam Hornish. Look at the fastest laps of the day thus far. Fever right now is sitting down in the field at 7th. But you talk about fast. They've been running laps 215, 216, up to 218 the last several laps.
And Paul, we got a group of the first 10 guys are also competitive. The 10th place being Castro Neves. This could go any way, I'll tell you.
Unser Jr. Drives Scheckter high. Scheckter stays there. We mentioned Robbie Buell into the pits. Gary Carroll, what's the story?
Robbie, what ends up putting you on this side of the wall?
Well, it looks like there's something motor related. which is too bad. The Infinity guys have been working hard along with Walkinshaw's guys, and this isn't something that we factor in as worry about motor problems, but this Texas track's hard on the car, and I feel bad for the George Venice guys. We just, we're not delivering on what we know we can do, and it's really frustrating. We just got to keep working.
All right, he's missing a lot of fun because this sure is great racing. Jack?
Well, George, not the kind of finish you wanted. You're in DNF. What happened to the 310 car?
Well, I'm not sure. They took it back to the garage to take a look at it. Just kind of seemed to lose power, but we're not really sure exactly, you know, what's causing it at this point. But
what about your first ride in Texas? What do you think?
I love the track. I love the close racing and everything, and everybody's been very supportive here, just like in Indy. So, you know, the 310 car was, it was very, very consistent. The same that we had, you know, at Indy, which is what we're shooting for. I'm just trying to stay out of trouble, finish some races, and, you know, give the fans what they came here to see. So, racing Indy is the only place where you're going to draw this many people, you know, for this kind of racing at night. With this, you know, being as humid as it is and everything, but we'll be back next week.
Oh! Hornish in trouble. He got tapped, and he catches the wall.
You guys, contacted.
We were on the onboard, and look there is Cheever. It looked like Hornish got stabbed from the rear, but that's only a conclusion, Scott, from what we saw on board.
Well, we'll have to see a replay, Paul, but just a few laps before, I did notice Cheever starting to take a peek on the inside and have a look there, and it certainly looked the way that his car went around with Hornish climbing out of his car right now. You can start to see the fire from the oil just here in the back section. I certainly think that maybe he got tagged.
Yeah, that fire course is no danger to Sam Hornish Jr., but the fact that he is out again is going to have a disastrous effect on his championship ideas.
Well, from the previous year where they had a complete perfect record of finishing races, they're having problems now looking at points. Here you see Cheever getting up underneath him. He's clearly underneath him, and all of a sudden, it just looked like the two of them got together, the right front of Eddie Cheever's car collecting the left rear of Hornish's car, and off they went to the wall. Now let's have a closer look here. Eddie's underneath, and it looks like Eddie just started to get off the gas. Hornish might have started to come down. They're obviously vying for the same spot on the racetrack. Just a small touch can show you how quickly these cars can be up on the wall. Now you saw when Hornish got out of the car, he sat on the side pod of the car. You think about it, going 215, 20 miles an hour and hitting that wall at probably over 100 Gs.
Back with the onboard, and we suggested he might have been hit from behind. He was actually brushed. Hornish trying to tell Buddy Lazier where he's going, and then bang.
Now let's watch what's going on here. Here comes Cheever going underneath Hornish. Now there's also a car up here you see in front of him being Lazier. Eddie's probably getting a lot of dirty air because Lazier's car is directly in front of him. So now his car might start to push up, which I think is what happens. And you can see that right now they're side by side. And as we're going to move forward here, watch to see if Eddie's car starts to veer up from the baseline here. This is going to be our factor right here. Start to go forward here, and we'll actually see how the car veers up. Eddie's climbing forward, moving up from the bottom of the track, and hits Hornish.
Let's go down to Jackaroo.
Well, Eddie, no place to go.
No, I had a place to go. I was in my place, and I didn't have a place to go. Look at the replay. It's always difficult in the car, but I had the inside line. It was very tight. And we touched, and it's a pity because we're both moving back up, so nothing really I could say. I mean, I went in the inside, he chose the outside, and we touched, so the IRL will tell us what happened.
All right, we know you have to go for your mandatory checkup at the Infield Care Center. Paul, let's go back up to you.
Third crash of the year for Eddie Cheever, who clearly believed that Hornish came down on him as they moved through the corner. We'll take one more look at it. This is from Felipe Giaffone's point of view.
Well, Paul, two things were happening there, certainly.
So a close call there. We'll be back.
ESPN's presentation of the Texas 500 is being brought to you by Delphi, driving tomorrow's technology. Here at Texas Motor Speedway, Shigeaki Hattori relinquishes the lead under caution to make a pit stop. He had that Epson car out on the front for 28 laps, but came in for this stop, Scott.
And we see that jack actually in the back. You see the man right here in the back working the jack by hand. That tells you that the pneumatic jack that they have is not working right now. So the air jacks are not working. And the tires are spinning and off he goes. It's very close. When the tires do that and he puts the car on the ground, they didn't take the jack man with him.
And there is the battered remains of Sam Hornish Jr., who had contact with Eddie Cheever. Both of them went into the wall, and both of them are out of competition. We are at lap 131 of 200 in the Texas 500 for the Indy Racing League. And so far, Tomas Scheckter has been leading the most laps, 79. We have had 6 different leaders and a total of 8 different lead changes. And once again, the competition here at Texas Motor Speedway has been incredible. There you see the list of drivers who have dropped out of competition, and the top 2 are the most recent to go because of that crash over in turns 3 and 4. Sam Hornish Jr. and Eddie Cheever Jr. both out. But Cheever's driver, Tomas Scheckter, remains at the front. Beautiful spring evening here at Texas Motor Speedway as the Indy Racing League is competing in the Texas 500, and we are under caution because of an accident involving Eddie Cheever Jr. and Sam Hornish Jr. Now let's take a look at the race summary so far as we are well beyond the halfway point. On lap number 9, John DeFries and Rick Treadway touched in the tri-oval, and then later, there's the touch, then later Treadway in turn number 2 came off high and banged the wall. Lap number 94, and Scott Sharp has a mechanical problem, a suspension problem. Big puff of smoke from that car. He went back into the garage area for 29 laps, but is back in competition. Then on the 97th lap, Sam Hornish under caution. He has his right rear roll off the car. It goes over and bangs the 52 of Tomas Scheckter. Shigeaki Hattori, driving for Buzz Calkins in the Epson-sponsored car, takes the lead for the first time in his Indy Racing League career, passing Felipe Giafoni. He led 28 laps. And then most recently on lap 128, Cheever and Hornish touch at the end of the backstretch. Both of them are hard into the wall, and both, needless to say, out of competition. Jack is with Sam.
Sam, it happened so quick at 220 miles an hour. What do you think?
Not really sure what to think right now. Still haven't seen a replay of the accident, and it's just the end of the day. Shouldn't have been back there to begin with, so that's what happens when you have to go back there and when you have little problems and have to start at the back of the field and try to work your way through.
Gary?
Well, here's a face that we're happy to see back at the racetrack. Jacques Lazier suffered a very nasty back injury at Nazareth. Your first time back at the track since. Tell us how you're coming along in the rehab process.
The rehab is actually further along than I had anticipated. I'm actually really happy with our progress. I feel like I could get into a car right now. Obviously, that's too premature. I'm still wearing a brace, and Wednesday I'll know a lot more. Wednesday I go up to see Dr. Tremmel and Dr. Bach, and we'll get some more X-rays and see how the rods are coming together, and see how all the bones are healing.
You sound like maybe you're hoping you still get in the car before the season is over. Do you think there's a chance?
I am definitely hoping. My personal goal is I want to defend Chicagoland. You know, last year I felt like we dominated it pretty good, and I kind of made a comment that I called it Menard Land, and I have to back that up, and the only way I can back it up is to get out there and run. But that's my personal goal. Realistically, we're definitely on for next year, and it's just important to get back 100%.
All right, it's great to see you back at the racetrack here.
Thank you, Gary.
All right, let's get back up to Bob.
And the car that is normally driven by Jacques Lazier is under the command of Raul Boisel at this moment. He comes in for a pit stop, relinquishing the 8th position, and Jacques' brother, Buddy Lazier, is running 2nd at the moment. Top fuel points leader Larry Dixon has won the first 6 races this season, and he'll be hoping for another win at the Pontiac Excitement Nationals. Eliminations begin on Sunday, qualifying Saturday on ESPN and ESPN2. About to go back to racing here at Texas Motor Speedway. We talk about how these cars are equipped with the yellow light on the dashboard or in the steering wheel. Take a look at Scott Sharp here as we roll the video, and you can see here when they're right there, the caution is coming on and the yellow lights are blinking on that Delphi steering wheel of Scott Sharp. All right, there he is. He is some 29 laps behind. In 19th position, we have 12 cars on the lead lap. And by the way, Raul Boisel was brought in for an inspection. The IRL thought he may have been hit by debris, so he did not, and he gets his 8th position back. As Paul, we are set to go back to racing.
With Scheckter, Lazier, Raydon, first, second, and third. Best guess is, as we look at the restart order, is that those guys will have to stop on the 155th-ish lap. Everybody else will go down to about the 185th to 190th before they have to stop. Of course, cautions change everything. Scheckter leads Lazier onto the backstretch.
And Paul, this is the first time that Lazier's been up front in a while. He's certainly had bad luck this season, been taken out of some crashes, has some couple mechanical issues go on, but certainly is always fast and always runs well here, and a win for that team right now is well needed.
Well, this kid from Cape Town, South Africa, Tomas Scheckter, is really incredible. He is very, very good. Nothing seems to rattle him. Here comes Raydon, taking a look at Buddy Lazier.
Lazier, tons of experience in the IRL, especially on these mile-and-a-half tracks. Raydon, a little bit new to it, just got involved in the ovals in this last year or so. Comes out of road racing in Europe and just loves to go around these high banks.
Now Raydon trying to close in even further and put pressure on second place Lazier. Jack, you're keeping track of Scheckter. What do they say in the pit?
And Paul, it seems as if little problems continue to develop. You know, every time you come into the pits to take on fuel, you have to reset your fuel gauge. Tomas Scheckter forgot to do that last time. So a quick change on the Red Bull pit sign for the next time. Reset the fuel meter. They don't know how much fuel is being burned down now with their telemetry.
Well, that's really critical because what you want to do is zero the gauge in the center of your wheel. Part of that whole display system. If you don't do that, then you don't have any idea what's run through the injector.
And not only for the driver, Paul, because he gets that information on the steering wheel, as we talked about before, but the real-time telemetry that are on these cars, there's information being sent back as it happens from the cars to the pit lane. The engineers are looking at the information that the driver also sees in the steering wheel. They know exactly where the car is on their laptop screen, how much fuel he's using, all the engine functions, as we're seeing here on the Firestone information. Lateral G is 3.9 over 4. Really taxing on a driver, especially with the heat that we have tonight. The speed, 216, 17, 18, 19 miles an hour. You can see how it just spurts itself up. And we talked about that tire temp and tire pressure information. The red arrow is actually going from the yellow into the green, telling you the pressure and the temperatures are going up as he continues to run after the yellow.
And again, thanks to that great telemetry provided by Firestone. Here's the on the move once again. With Giaffoni's up there at the front, battling great moves by him.
And Paul, it's no surprise that Buddy Lazier has picked up the pace. Why? Because his team monitors always telecast in other teams' radios. They now know that Tomas Scheckter cannot hear his crew. They just radio to the Coors Light chauffeur, go after Scheckter. He's deaf and dumb.
Yeah, but he's not slow.
Now we talk about Lazier going to his hometown, home state next week in Colorado. Certainly would love to leave here with a great finish. A win if he can, but certainly if he runs up front here, he'll be having the best finish he's had so far this year.
Back to the front. Consider that stat right there. Run at Texas Motor Speedway, 5 of the last 8 finishes under 1 second. That's astonishing. We may be on our way to that again, though. Pit strategy is still very much part of this. Raydon on Lazier now for second.
Car inside. Still there.
Can't get it done. Where's car remains in second. That's all the IRL news online with real-time results and the new IRL Challenge fantasy game. Log on to ESPN.com, keyword ABC IRL. Indy Racing League, the Texas 500. A little further back. Whole group battling here, though not all necessarily on the same lap. Remember Sharp in the middle of that. Bob Jenkins goes at 29 laps behind the leader. Giaffoni's running side by side with Castor Nevis, the Indy champion.
Paul, we talked about running so close, just 6 inches apart, going through those turns. So close all the time. 215, 220 miles an hour.
Castor Nevis, the Team Penske car, gets a leg up on the Hollywood car, Billy Pope. Right in behind. And Ayrton Dare is closing in on both. They're all right together. It's about an 8th-place battle for 5th.
One driver we've not heard very much about tonight, Jeff Ward. Certainly had some problems in qualifying, but he's up there in the target machine right now, making some good headway. Currently running in 5th. Always has been a strong competitor here.
Sharp trying to move on it.
Now you might ask why Scott Sharp comes back out after repairs from the car. Same with Gilles DeFerrin. They're running for the championship here. If they can get back out, start clicking off some laps and gain some points towards the championship, it's well worth it.
Redon tries for second again. Buddy Lazier high.
Hold it right there. Still
Redon's
outside.
got him
Clear.
right now. Can he hold on? He comes across the front of Lazier. And Redon picks up second place behind Tomas Scheckter, who's now nearly a full second ahead of the rest of the field in the Texas 500, the Indy Racing League.
Hit speed.
Well, as we suggested, top 3 going to have to pit about the 155th, 160th lap, and Buddy Lazier pulls off and makes the first of that stop.
Ron Hemmelgarn told us, Paul, there would be no changes. It's just fuel and the tires. They're good to go the rest of the distance. They were in the window. He cranks up the rev. 91 is back out there. He's trying, but he's going to lose some ground, obviously, under this green flag stop.
Laurent Redon comes off course.
Ron, you think the motor is broke? I think so, yes. Map 7, let's try and leave here. See what happens. Pump the clutch. Pump the clutch.
Saw the wheels turn all the
leader Scheckter stop.
And this will be a time stop. They're going to change tires. They do not need a full 35 gallons of fuel. They are timing it, and they just stalled it. They stalled the engine just as he was being told to leave. They have to refire it. They're trying to remain calm. They have not yet gotten the onboard starter seated. Oh my soul! They don't have it starting. They're trying to push start him now.
And Jack, what happened there? The starter went to go in. It sounded like it might have stripped. It might not have gone all the way into the plug, as we call it, and they probably stripped the starter, so now they have to push start it. Now, the rules are they're only allowed to go 3 pit boxes. You'll see them stop here shortly and start to pull the car back, unless they borrow a starter.
Another starter over the wall. Starter has a shaft with a set of splines on the end of it, plugs into the back of the car right onto the end of the primary shaft through the gearbox. And here comes Redon back in. They were talking about their possible problem with the clutch. They're going to pull the colling.
And that's a big blow to both of this Infinity teams. Both of them had the capability of winning here.
That's good. Go, Bruce.
So as those 3 come in, the lead of the race goes over to this guy, Al Unser Jr.
And he's followed by Ayrton Dare with AJ Foyt. A Texas team, this will be huge if he wins here. Followed by Castor Nevis, who has not made that much noise so far this night.
Yeah, but he's quietly in 3rd place. And first or third, you can cover by a blanket.
And you can start to see all the gamemanship starting to
happen here, Paul, coming out of turn 2. They come out in the middle of the track, start to work their way down towards the line on the bottom, trying to break the draft, as it's called.
Billy Boat quietly there in fourth. Kare, the Harrow's car, tries to work a little bit on Unser Jr. He won't have any of it.
And as we go past turns 3 and 4 here, I think we'll see the other Harrow's car sitting on the apron, working its way slowly into the pits of Greg Ray. He seems like he's going by very slowly.
That's the last pit stop for the leaders of the race. Guess here is what? 190th maybe maximum before they come into the pit. So a dash for the pits, absent a yellow for the leaders in the last 10 laps. On the back of Castroneves. Giafone comes down to this fight too.
Watch outside.
Here comes Castroneves as he puts the nose ahead of Billy Boat.
All right, here it is. Just call this number. You could be the lucky winner of an all-access pass to next year's Indy 500. Hey, I wish it was that easy for me. Good luck.
Unser Jr. still in front. Ayrton Dare in second. Elio Castroneves now in third. Billy Boat took a pretty good run on both Giafone and Castroneves and got him, and then almost immediately fell back. There he is in the Curb-sponsored car, both the 98 winner of this race.
Pretty impressive performance for Billy Boat in his third records entry. They do zero, I repeat, zero testing. I asked his crew chief, Daryl Soppy, what sort of testing did you do? He said, Thursday and Friday.
But Unser Jr. on the 173rd lap, now complete as the leader, started from his best starting position, third, best ever in the IRL.
Paul, we talked about Unser Jr. earlier this year. He's a renewed Unser Jr.
back, looking inside.
He's been working out, he's fit, he's fast, and he's focused, and he's been doing a great job all year.
And right now, Unser Jr. and his Cortec O'Brien team desperately want a caution. Why? Because according to their telemetry, he will have to pit at lap 195.
Well, Gary Gerald in second place is A.J. Foyt's driver, Ayrton Dare. What are they thinking?
Well, I'd like to know. I climbed up in the scoring stand with AJ and I asked the Texan, do you have to make another stop or can you possibly go? He looked at me, he wiggled his hand in an indecisive manner. He wouldn't tell me one way or another. One Texan playing it real close to the best. Dare in second place, Jason Unser.
Well, there is that Texan, the grand champion, A.J. Foyt. Talk about bravery, the guys on track. How about Gary Gerald climbing up on his scoring stand?
At least he didn't knock me down, Paul.
Yeah, exactly.
Now the benefit for Dare is that he gets to run in the draft of Unser Jr., maybe using a little bit less fuel. Will that help him make it to the end? We don't know how much fuel he has right now, but it certainly might just make the difference.
At least we forget Castroneves. Kind of quietly snuck up there to the front, just like he did at the Indy 500. First through 8, covered by a second and a half. Raydon is just running around slow. You got a glimpse of him. Remember, he's got problems, and despite the good run in the lead, now he's just putting lap in running low on the track.
Well, Paul, he's going so slow right now, I got to expect that Brian Barnhart with the IRL will be pulling him in very quickly.
Back, looking outside.
Billy Boat again, working on Giafone.
Outside.
He's high.
Outside. Outside. Still there. Still there. Still there.
Jim
Still
Ford
there.
right behind him there.
Clear.
Boycell in the Menard John Vanville car. We didn't heard much from him tonight. And Shaggy Hattori, he's been the fastest on the track. Remember, he led a little bit ago. Now sits back in 8th place, but he's been running laps up above 215, 216 miles an hour.
Paul, he's taking the advantage of all those cars in front of him, breaking the air for him. It's one thing to catch up to all those cars, but it's another thing to pass them. But I have to say, this is probably one of the best races that he's had of his IRL career.
Now Al Unser Jr. is going to begin to encounter some more traffic. John DeVries lies just ahead. Remember, DeVries has figured into a couple of the situations that brought out the caution. Been pretty much running alone for a while. And you can be sure they're on the radio trying to get him down and clear of the track as the leaders come through. Let's go to Jackaroo.
Thomas so close yet again and yet so far away.
One more pit stop. I knew my clutch was going and I felt it really soggy, and that last one, that's all we needed was just to get out one last time, and I put it in neutral before and then the car was jacked up. As soon as we put the car down again, I engaged it in first and the car stalled. I don't know what I have to do to win a race now.
Paul?
He led 107 laps here. We've been watching this great battle for 3rd place. Castroneves, Giafoni, both Ward. And that's bringing him in closer contact with the leaders. Unser, 2nd place, Ayrton Dare.
Unser doing just a great job keeping it smooth, hitting all his points
Dylan
around
back.
all the
Let's hang in
turns.
there, buddy.
But I'm sure
Nice and smooth, Junior. Good job. Nice and smooth.
He needs a yell. We can hear his team saying nice and smooth, which is exactly what he's doing.
But the leaders are all now within 10 laps of that projected stop for fuel. 4 cars you saw, the IRL has great command channel on the radio, and they can say, move down, get out of the way, the leaders are coming. It works very well. 55 laps for everybody in the front since the last stop.
Paul, let's go back to Nazareth, Pennsylvania, the race before the Indianapolis 500. Tom Kelly and Kelly Racing found themselves in a battle with their idol, Team Penske and Gilles de Ferran. On that day, it was Scott Sharp who gambled on fuel and beat Gilles de Ferran. Right now, Tom Kelly is hoping that he can gamble again. They keep looking up at the scoreboard, knowing that in just 9 laps, their hopes for the Texas 500 may go up in methanol.
And look just ahead of the leader. Al Unser Jr. is out in front of Ayrton Dare in these closing laps. We still expect the leaders to make a stop before the finish, probably about the 195th lap. I'm Paul Page, Scott Goodyear, and Bob Jenkins are alongside in what has been a magnificent race. Tomas Scheckter led 107 laps, and then a mechanical failure took him out. Now that is a splash, very quick, for both Hattori and Billy Boat. Billy Boat gets a nose on him going to the line. And Giafoni comes out in front of both of them.
Giafoni also just with a splash of fuel. These Firestone Firehawk tires are so good that they can certainly run a couple of segments on them, and all these teams know that, and they're taking advantage of it.
And the action is picked up in the Cortecno Bryant stall.
Okay, we're going to splash and go pit and 2.
We're going to have him pit in 2 laps.
Pit in 2.
Laps. Tom
You're clear.
Kelly has given him the instructions, and now all of a sudden it's going to be left up to the guys on the pit wall to be able to put their driver back out.
Pressure to the pit crew.
We got you. We're just splashing.
Castroneves is going in. Thought for a moment that Sharp might become a factor with his teammate, but he finally got down off the racing line and let Unser Jr. come by.
Paul, you talk about the teams. The team's got 7 seconds to glory here. It can all go right or go wrong. We saw some wheels come off earlier tonight, and the teams certainly know that.
So with Elio Castroneves in, and just out that quick. Here comes Unser and Dare, first and second.
This could be the tensest moments for these two drivers. It is Unser Jr. into a stall first and away first.
Unser has beaten him as they leave.
Okay, let's go.
And Unser Jr. still has the lead over Dare as they come out. But look at here. Here comes Castroneves at speed.
Now, Paul, he'll have the runoff of two. He'll have momentum and draft by these guys if he can. He had a faster pit stop and maybe he had a faster in and out lap, as we call it.
Boy, did he go screaming past Unser Jr.
And don't you know,
Excuse me, Scott. Al Unser Jr., when he saw him go by, says, has he pitted? Has he pitted?
Yeah, I'm afraid he has. That's Jeff Ward there, the 9 car, coming up behind Unser Jr.
on your fuel, position 6.
Dare's going to come back at Ward. Unser's going to try and track down the leader, Elio Castroneves.
Position 6 on fuel.
And Ward's starting to play a part here.
Dare clears Ward. Dare into 3rd place. Counting down the last 5 laps now.
All that Tom Kelly has said to the 2nd place runner, his driver, Al, go get him.
And that's exactly what Al's doing. He's closing down, but so is Dare. 4 to go now.
Watch Castroneves. He's starting to hunt that low line. Try to make those guys work hard, work up on the top side. But Al Jr.'s going to get some help.
Junior's up alongside Dare, helping him. Castroneves holds on down below. They're inches away at 214 miles an hour.
3 laps to go, 3 to go.
Junior by a nose, that time by the line, 3 to go.
Still down there, he's still low.
Ward and Dare battle.
Paul, these 4 drivers will not take their foot off the gas. They're going to be flat out no matter what.
Still low.
Castroneves
looking high, looking high.
Ward comes into 3rd place. He gets
clear behind.
Unser Jr. back to the front.
You're clear.
Paul, as
Clear
you were
behind.
talking, I took a look outside the window. There's not a person sitting in this whole complex right now. On their feet.
Unser Jr. clearly in front now. Jeff Ward into 2nd.
Position 6 on fuel.
White flag comes out. We're going to start the final lap with Unser Jr. in front. Over 83,000 people here, and they're all standing up and cheering.
Looking high, looking high.
Junior goes down to protect that bottom.
Here comes Jeff Ward.
Looking high, he's high. Car high. High, high, high. Keep pushing.
Checkered flag is out ahead, and Jeff Ward takes it. Jeff Ward by inches. Unser Jr. is 2nd.
How's that for number 1? Good job, buddy.
Finally, after 4 position, Jeff Ward has won it.
Congratulations. Oh, boys, congratulations. Well done, everyone. Congratulations, my friend. Well done.
Jeff Ward came into this year not even certain that he had a ride. Got a test hop from Chip Ganassi, and it's paid off here at the Texas 500. The only lap that Jeff Ward led was this one, the final lap. Look at him surge at the line.
Paul, he gets that surge because Dare's behind him, helping him slipstream, giving that push, just getting him around the outside, just getting him ahead of Al Unser Jr.
So with a little help from Dare, it's Ward, Unser, and Dare, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in the Texas 500 at the Texas Motor Speedway. It's so close that the computers right now are still not showing the margin of victory.
Again, buddy, great job.
Great job for Jeff Ward. Really taking up fitness here in the last little while. I saw him the other day just on the outskirts of the track on his bicycle doing about an hour and a half of bike riding. He's been training, been waiting for this time.
11 thousandths of a second is the margin of victory. They had to sort it out, .0111. Texas Motor Speedway still continues that great record as the fireworks go off to celebrate for Jeff Ward.
This is a great time for a driver, Paul. I can tell you from past experience, and there's no other track like it in the world here, that they have all the fireworks going off. You're underneath the lights, your emotions are running high, and the neatest thing for Jeff Ward to come shortly here is his team is all going to come in and join him in victory circle.
And this is such a big win for this team. For Mitch Davis and this entire Chip Ganassi outfit. Jeff Ward, who has come so close after finishing second in his rookie appearance at the Indianapolis 500, the driver that many people said was the most talented and most deserving of a victory, and oft times they wondered when it was going to come. The same Jeff Ward who, the lap before the end when he saw the white flag, saw Al Unser Jr. in front of him. And now, Jeff Ward, you have won the Texas 500.
Yeah. Oh, that was great. We hung in. The Target guys did a fantastic job. Thanks to Chip, giving me this opportunity. My wife Candace, all the sponsors, my guys. Yeah.
Tell me about the last lap, Jeff, because that was just breathtaking.
Well, we knew we had to make that last pit stop, you know, a good one, in and out. We did it. I didn't know I was fighting for the lead there. I thought Scheckter and them were gone, and I heard P2, and I don't know how it went on the outside. I wasn't really able to do that all night, but God, thank God for that one. This is great for the team. This is good. This is the turnaround point now. Now we can look forward.
Did you know when you crossed the line that you had won?
Well, yeah, when I came across, you know, 2 laps before, they told me 2 to go and P2, and I was shocked as anybody to know that, and I was going to pass whoever I could, but man, it worked out great. That's fantastic. I can't believe it.
You waited a long time for this victory.
Yeah, I heard him right before 51 career starts. I didn't know I was here that long, but this year race is all those. Now we can start forward.
And now he can start the celebration, Gary.
Well, A.J. Foyt, Tom Kelly, Scott Sharp, countless crew members coming over to congratulate Al Unser Jr. I can't imagine what the emotion must be. Tell us, to lose by such a tight margin.
Well, what can I say? I mean, the crew did their job, the car did its job, we did our job, and we just, you know, Wardy had the draft on me, and he came up and around me, and so, you know, I could have tried some bad stuff on the back straightaway, but, you know, it ain't worth it. We discussed about how we were going to drive this race in the drivers' meeting with Brian Barnhart, and I drove it the way that we discussed it, and I came up short.
Out in a lap like that, when you've got 4 or 5 cars so tightly packed together with 1.5 miles to go, can you plot any kind of strategy at all?
No, it's all wide open and just run it right on the bottom, and that's what we did. And you know, I thought we had enough, but right there at the end, it just wasn't enough. You know, congratulations, Target team, Jeff Ward. He did a great job. You know, he earned it for sure.
And these fans are still on their feet, still applauding an amazing finish. We congratulate you on a great ride.
Well, thank you, and I want to say hi to all my kids at home, little Al, Joey, Shannon, Cody, Chad, and Chase.
All right. Bob, he talked about knocking that door down at the start of the night, and he came within, what, thousandths of a second of doing just that.
It is the closest finish in the history of the Indy Racing League, and it seems like we do that every time we come here, but that is the situation. Jax with the 3rd place finisher.
I told you at the beginning of the show, guys, don't mess with Texas, and all of a sudden, Texas's newest sponsor, Ayrton Dari. Wow, what a finish.
Well, man, I had a great moments in this race. You know, it's the beginning of the race, I was a little bit disappointed. We kept making pit stops, making change. The car, as soon as the fuel load goes down, we're getting faster and faster every lap. Beginning of the race, I couldn't even go on the high lane, you know, and my car was, and then we make changes and I was able to pass outside, inside, whatever. I didn't realize that those guys are the top 2 guys, you know. But I was trying to push hard, try to pass them, but I thought I was gonna, after I did my splash and go, I'll be somewhere 8th or 7th or 8th place, you know. I didn't know we were gonna be able to get them, you know.
Ayrton, let's talk a little bit about, you replaced an injured Donnie Beechler at the beginning of the season, had a good run at Miami, and then the learning curve got real steep with you. But at Indianapolis, spending a month with A.J. Foyt and his Harris crew, it seems to have turned things around not only for the crew, but for you as well.
Oh yeah, you know, beginning, like that race in Homestead was a big surprise for me. We didn't expect to run that good. And then we came to Phoenix and Fontana. We struggled with a little bit of problems. I struggled myself at Phoenix, learning the setups that they had. We struggled with speed in Fontana. When we got to Indy, you know, first week was terrible. You know, AJ was really mean to me. You know, but then next following weekend we started working together, and since then we've been working really, really good. You know, the best guy I've ever had.
Bob, I don't think AJ will be mean to him anymore.
Well, Ayrton just had a great race. So did this guy, Jeff Ward, who comes home the winner in the closest finish in the history of the Indy Racing League. This is on board Al Unser Jr.'s car, the side pod camera looking over to Jeff Ward, who got a little bit of push from Ayrton Dare, just enough to push him over the line. And there's the reaction by Al Unser Jr. Oh, darn, that close. Well, there is the finish. 1, 2, 3. Ward, Unser, Dare. And now this becomes the closest finish in the history of the IRL, 11 thousandths of a second. It wasn't the closest 1, 2, 3 margin. That was last October here at Texas. But this is the second closest 1, 2, 3 finish in history. Let's go back and take a look at the absolutely breathtaking last lap. And Scott, they run down into turn number 1, and at this point, it looks like that Unser's got it in the bag.
Bob, it looks like it, and then all of a sudden Ward starts to come on the outside, and it looks like it's just going to be a battle of momentum. But what you're going to see happen here very shortly is Dare come up from behind, and behind both of these guys, whatever lane he chooses, the driver in front's going to get that draft, and he chose the right-hand side and chose Ward.
Jeff Ward only led 1 lap, but it was the most important. Eddie Cheever Jr. ends up with the Yamaha fastest lap on number 89.
Two of the impressive performances this evening belong to Shigeaki Hattori and to Billy Boat. Shiggy, were you surprised how well you ran tonight?
Well, you know, the car was good, and also Epson crew did a good job. That was fun.
And Billy, you had to learn about this racetrack, no testing, on Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, the curb records team did a great job tonight. You know, we didn't, we were right with the lead pack most of the night. The car was good. We had good pit stops. Would have liked to have been there for the fun at the end, but we'll be here next time ready to go.
Bob.
Well, here are the results at Shigeaki Hattori's best career finish. In the 6th position at the checkered flag, there were 9 cars on the lead lap. Unfortunately, those who did not finish included Tomas Scheckter, who led the most laps, 107. There were 17 lead changes tonight among 9 drivers. The average speed 164.9 miles an hour. Helio Castroneves remains on top of the point standings by 44 over his teammate. ESPN's presentation of the Texas 500 is being brought to you by Chevrolet. Wherever there's a winner's circle, we'll be there.
Once again back at Texas, deep back in the paddock, here's Helio Castroneves, a disappointed 4th, but you had a very close call. Tell us, how close did you come to crashing with a lap to go?
Very close. Unfortunately, one of the direct guys told it, the spotter told it was clear, and he just moved down, and I was sideways a little bit. Enough to lose the momentum with the other guys, but hey, thank God I'm still here alive.
So, and now you get ready to move on to the next challenge. Your impressions about racing here at Texas for the first time?
Amazing. For a moment, I thought, whoa, I'm going to get another one. That's going to be too lucky, but it was great.
We got to go. Bob?
Helio Castroneves remains in the points lead after a 4th place finish here at Texas Motor Speedway. They never seem to disappoint us, do they, when the Indy Racing League drivers come to Texas Motor Speedway. It's just one outstanding performance after another. Coming up next, baseball tonight. Join us next Sunday, June 16th, as we move to Pikes Peak International Raceway for the Pikes Peak 225. You can see that race at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. That's 1 Pacific over on ABC Sports. Thanks for joining us here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway, where Jeff Ward has won his first IRL race. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more information, log on to ESPN.com.